I hope that you still have the momentum that you developed during yesterday, and we have been calming our mind throughout the day through loving kindness, through body awareness, through breathing. So today we will pay more attention to more of the Vipassana techniques, but still establishing in the calm and settled mind. So we will try to practice more Vipassana techniques today to use our calm mind and then directly pay our attention to catch, directly see, and directly experience the impermanence, or actually rising and falling of all the sensations, all the phenomena, all the whatever experiences come to us. And when we directly see it, when it is happening in real time, then we will remove our ignorance. Until we see it, we will still have wrong beliefs. So therefore, we will try to have such insights during the day. But I want to emphasize that in the Buddhist teaching, there's so much emphasis on combining the calming meditative techniques and also the insight meditation techniques. But ultimately, the goal of our meditation is not only to go into deep level of calmness in the meditation, but mainly how we can use whatever insights, whatever realization we will have in our meditation during our daily life. And meditation should improve how we interact with the world. And meditation should give us more wisdom, more stability to deal with everyone else in the world and deal with any sensory experience that we are having, and deal with any difficulties, any unexpected things that may happen in our life. So the success of the meditation is measured in Buddhism not by the fact that how long we can sit or what kind of jhana that you can achieve. Those are great, but the success of the meditation is measured in Buddhism how well you can live without conflicts, without tensions when you are outside of the meditation. That is what the Buddha really wanted. Because even before the Buddha, there were highly peaceful meditative states that a lot of sages have mastered. So they already knew that actually if you manage to calm your mind and settle your mind and you are away from the world and you are in such a peaceful, blissful state, but how long you can be there? You cannot be there for months or years, right? Only only a certain period. When you come out and you have to deal with the world, you have to deal with the samsara, you have to deal with every other things. So what the ascetic Siddhartha at that time, what he really wanted is not the temporary relief that we experience in the meditation, but how we can make that change permanent, even outside of the meditation, even when you come out of the meditation, how we can maintain such a stable mind, such an equanimous mind, and such insightfulness. That was his goal. That is how Buddha invented or discovered Vipassana techniques, but it's all based on calming the mind. So they are all connected. But importantly, whatever practices that we are doing, with samatha meditation, with loving kindness, with breathing, we develop the stability of the mind. And even when there are things that are happening in front of us that are like agitated or unexpected, or maybe hurtful, we can maintain some stability in front of them. And that stability allows us to interpret or react or respond to that situation differently. Let's say, after your meditation, when you go back home and someone started to complain about something. And I'm giving you an example. When you go back home tonight, after a whole day meditation, someone at home started to complain that you didn't do something at home. Maybe you didn't close the door properly, or you didn't, fold your clothes, or whatever. Maybe you didn't, close the food properly, and all the hands are there. So someone is complaining you. So if someone is complaining you, and how you will deal with it. In our normal way, if someone start to complain, and then we thought our knowing there are so many things happening in us, everything happening within us without our conscious awareness, we will get hurt, and we will try to find a way to justify it, right? I was in a hurry, I had to go to meditation. So we'll somehow, justify, whatever you did and try to defend yourself, right? And you are not wrong, I'm correct. That's what you usually do, but some people also put the blame on oneself. But as a training that we do here with development of stability of the mind and also the ability to see the inner process. So stability comes from the Samatha meditation, and the ability to see the inner processing, how we interpret this, how we bring our past memories and concepts to make sense of this. Seeing that inner process comes from insight techniques. So we can use these both techniques to deal with such a situation. Like if someone is scolding or maybe complaining at you, if you have done enough samatha meditation, when that person is throwing all these words and everything at you, you can actually listen to them. Listen to them and be aware of them without having much fluctuation inside the mind. It's still not pleasant, those things are not pleasant, but there'll be less agitation happening inside the mind because you learn how to be with the discomfort. Maybe you have more inner space, inner stability, that even certain discomfort or unpleasant things cannot really bother you that much. So with samatha training, you will be listening to that person until that person completed his sentence or his, whatever he has to say. But you don't ignore, you pay attention and you will listen with less agitation. And you still, have some, you will still feel a little bit, fluctuation, but there's some stability. And then definitely you will get hurt, you will have all other angry thoughts, maybe negative emotions. But then you can actually analyze how exactly why that words coming from that person's mouth is hurting me. You can do a quick analysis right there. I'm saying that like, 30 seconds, 1 minute analysis, why did I, get hurt so much because of these words? So you can see how, we give different meanings to those words, and you can see these specific words that this person is using has a specific meaning to me. So it's not only the words that are coming from that person's mouth, it's also the meaning that I'm giving to these words. Create, this unpleasantness. And you see, how you contribute to that experience. And also you see that the reason that I really get hurt is actually I have this strong sense of that I need to protect. And I need to protect, I need to defend, and this precious I cannot be shamed. This precious I cannot be blamed. This precious I cannot do any mistakes, right? So we have this very precious thing over here that we try to protect all the time. So it is this sense of defensiveness that actually creates this agitation and this pain. So you quickly make an analysis right there. And that with that very analysis can help you to reduce the pain. And then, of course, we have to reply. You cannot simply stay silent. And then you have to say something about that. Either you can explain, and maybe if you really realize that there's nothing here to protect that much, what's wrong with accepting the mistake, right? You become a little humble, and you acknowledge your mistake or acknowledge your forgetfulness. No harm, right? No harm, and then you can explain. If the words are too harsh, then actual mistake, and you can also express your displeasure, but in a calm, quiet manner. So we'll still be talking to the other person and dealing with the issues, but in a completely different way. So if we can handle such a situation very well, that is the success of meditation. And such moments, when we increase such moments more and more and more and more, then actually, so the liberation, the complete liberation that we get in the Buddhist practice is a continuation, maybe advancement of those moments. Because ultimately, so first we get the stability and insightfulness to analyze and deal with normal difficult moments in our life, challenging encounters, challenging conversations. But then more we develop this, we come to a point that anything that we see from our eye, any sound that we hear from our ear, so even a very early stage of this sensory encounter, sensory stimulus, we are able to notice them, we are able to understand the impermanence of all these sensory stimulus, and we are able to maintain equanimity right at the beginning. So ultimately, the liberation is being able to be with the world, see the things, hear the things, smell the things, taste the thing, but without attaching to any of them or without developing any resentment towards any of them. So live through the world without attaching or without being repelled by them. So that is the last stage, but we move towards that stage through small baby steps. So that should be our goal in meditation. So we will try our best to do that, right? And so you will get a lot of opportunities to examine. So Vipassana techniques that we are going to learn is like simply examining how the causes and conditions produce any feeling, any sense, any emotion, what are the inner factors that decide our displeasure? What are the inner factors that decides our craving? So we want to see exactly how these things are operating. But in order to do that, we need to have some Dhamma knowledge also. That is why everything starts with right view or Sammaditthi. So we have to have some Dhamma knowledge before we actually examine and see. So let us try to do that. I can share with you one experience. Recently, simple experience, but when you're outside of the meditation, you will get a lot of simple experiences that can be really helpful for you to analyze and see how we contribute or how we make our experience and how our previous concepts and perceptions and mental categories play a big role in deciding the nature of our experience. And when I was in Sri Lanka, I visited a monastery with few of my other friends, and so they asked us what we like to drink. So there were three of us. So we gave the preferences of three people. Some wants a tea with milk with sugar. Someone else want the tea and milk with no sugar. And I requested tea and milk with no sugar. The other person requested coffee with milk. So the three preferences, right? So they asked and we gave. So because I requested tea with milk, no sugar, so now I'm expecting my tea, right? So then, of course, they brought the tea and they, served the tea. The moment I had my first sip, I realized that I got the wrong one. But right there, initially, I started to have this, dislike, this resentment, and having all kinds of thoughts in my mind. Within a second, there's like a flow of all kinds of thinking that occurring here. So I'm drinking this, knowing that this is not what I asked for, and so you develop tension and tightness. So I thought, okay, I can request another tea that the way I like, but I thought that maybe this is a good opportunity for me to see what is happening here, see the inner processing. So I was examining the moment, every sip I'm taking, actually I'm taking this, every sip I'm taking not really experiencing the taste of the tea. I already have a prior image, prior expectation of a particular taste. So the reason that I feel unhappy right now is is nothing wrong with this whatever I'm drinking now. It also has its own taste. But the whole problem comes because of my prior expectation and prior image, prior mental mental perception that this is how it should taste. So I realized that how it connected and how it produces suffering and pain in me. So I thought I realized it. I take a deep breath and I decided, okay, let me taste this. Let me taste what is this. So I got the one with the sugar. I tried to avoid sugar, but right there I decided maybe I just experience it as it is. So I was able to finish the tea without any complaint, but it allowed me to examine, how we experience tension, how we experience suffering, how we experience displeasure. It's not only about the external situations, but actually there are a lot of inner working happening. And that is the area that we need to bring our attention to. So through meditation practice, we gradually try to see that inner factors that are working. They are working in a very fast manner. We cannot detect them. But with more practice, we can at least see them at least after the fact. Maybe not while it's happening, but after the fact. And when you see that, you get to know how we construct our desires, how we construct our anger, how we construct our displeasure or disappointments, and all these things we get to see. And when we see this inner working, inner processing, and see how our prior expectations, our prior concepts, our prior memories, how they play a part. When the moment you see it, and you all reduce the power of the displeasure, the gravity of the displeasure, gravity of even the gravity of the desire. Sometimes we desire things because of our previous memories and everything. The moment you see those inner factors, we reduce the gravity of the defilement right there. And through further examination, we can actually remove it completely. So that will be the using of the Vipassana techniques in our daily life. So that way we can actually release a lot of tension and tightness and suffering and discomfort that we are going through in our life. Of course, you can Of course, we can. So this is like training the mind to deal with unwelcome, unexpected, unpleasant situations. But the same with the dealing with situations that are appealing, that are attractive, that are pleasing, that will generate desire, that will generate clinging. We can also examine exactly why I desire this so much. And you can see the inner factors, and then you realize that actually the reason that I desire this so much is not so much of this object, but it is this previous memories and my previous concepts. So when you realize it, you lose the interest of the object, and you will still use it, but you will not be crazy about it, and you get a lot of freedom as a result. So let us develop that skill, and our practice is for that. Okay, so with that, we will start our first session. So again, in the morning session, we will develop a little bit more calmness, and then introduce breathing towards the end. Okay, so we will start with our movements. Okay, let us develop some body awareness. And we will be doing some movements to generate more sensations, so that we can catch those sensations and be with them. So as usual, we will spread our feet and distribute our weights evenly to our both feet. And take a moment to feel the sensation in the feet, how your heels are pressed, how the muscles in the heels are pressed with the weight of your body. Try to feel that touch sensations and press muscles. And slowly come to the front part of the feet and feel how the muscles in the front feet are also touching the ground. And gently go to your toes and see how many toes do you feel now. With this awareness of the feet, acknowledge that I'm standing firmly. Acknowledge the stability, balanced posture. With this, let us now move our hands along with our breath. Let us take a deep breath, gently filling our lungs with a deep breath. And release it gently, relaxing all the muscles in the chest and the belly. Let us take another deep, slow breath, filling the lungs with fresh air, letting the chest rise above, and release the breath gently, slowly, releasing and relaxing the whole body. Take one more deep, long breath, and release it gently, relaxing, loosening the whole muscles. Now let us do the same along with our hands, and this time when you breathe in, raise your arms to the front. Breathing in, filling the lungs and raising the arms. Breathing out, spread the hands and gently release in the air, feel the relaxation. Breathing in, raising the arms all the way up, filling the lungs, arms are up. Breathing out, gently release in the air while bringing down the arms slowly, gently, feeling all the sensations occurring. Again, breathing into the front, breathing out to the side, breathing in up, breathing out, gently coming down. Breathing into the front, breathing out to the side, breathing in up, breathing out, gently coming down. Relax. Take a moment to observe the subtle sensations occurring in the arms, in the palms, and in the fingers. Subtle tingling sensations, pulsations. Feel them all and be in your body. Let's do the second movement. This time we only raise our right hand. Breathing in, raise your right hand all the way up. Breathing out, let's bend to the opposite direction, giving a nice bend. Release in the air. Breathing in, come to the middle. Breathing out, going back again. Give a nice bend. Breathing into the middle. One more time. Breathe out, going back. Breathing into the middle. And this time when you breathe out, bring your arm down gently, slowly, letting it come down. Again, the next. Breathing in, raise your left arm gently all the way up. Breathing out, bend your body to the opposite direction, giving a nice bend. Breathing in, come to the middle. Breathing out, going back again, bending the body. Breathing in, come into the middle. Again, breathing out, going back. Breathing in, come into the middle. And then breathe out, gently bring your arm down, gently, slowly, feeling all the sensations. Take a moment to feel all the sensations occurring throughout the arms and the palms. More awareness around our arms. Let us be in our body, nowhere else, but right here in our body. Let us do one last movement, this time interlacing our fingers and bringing them to the top of the head. Breathing in, turning the palms up and stretch and stretch and stretch. Breathe out, palms down, come and rest. Breathing in again, stretch and stretch, lengthen your spine. Breathe out, palms turn down, come back and down and rest. Breathing in, palms up, stretch and stretch. Breathe out, palms down, come and rest. Breathe in, palms up, stretch, stretch. Breathe out, palms down, come and rest. 2 more times. Breathing in, palms up, stretch, stretch. Breathe out, palms down, come and rest. Again, breathing in, palms up, stretch, stretch. Breathe out, palms down, come and rest. Again, breathing in, palms up and stretch. But this time when we breathe out, unlock your fingers, gently bring them down, slowly coming down. Now take a moment to observe those subtle sensations throughout your arms and in any other parts of the body. Whatever residual sensations, tingling sensations, vibrations, feel them all and be in your body. With this awareness of the body, we will now slowly sit down for seated meditation. So experience the breath, paying attention to the change, the renewal of the body at every time. Hontu sabbepi paninu. May all those who are suffering be free from suffering. May all those who are in fear be free from fear. May all those who are grieving be free from grief. May all beings be well and happy. We will gently come out of the meditation and gently put our palms together and place them against our chest. Let us take a moment to feel grateful for this opportunity to have a peaceful meditation session. Deeply feel grateful to all great teachers, enlightened masters in the past, who transmitted these teachings from generation to generation. Feel grateful to all your teachers, previous teachers who guided you, who encouraged you to practice the Dhamma. Deeply feel grateful to anyone else who supported this practice, who arranged this place for us, who arranged all other facilities for us. Let us also feel grateful to these non-living things which helped our meditation, including this cushion, this comfortable hall, and everything else. With deep appreciation and gratitude, let us say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, we started with some loving kindness and also a little bit healing meditation with our own body. And then we kind of shared and wished the same well-being to all other living beings too. And from there we did a short breathing meditation with some insight aspect to it. Any sharing or thoughts or difficulties that you encounter?
In one sitting, do we have to decide and which do we do samadhi or vipassana and then stick to it? And am I right if it's a samadhi sitting when there's arises of body sensation or thought or anything, we should not observe it so much, right? We should just let it pass and then go back to the breathing. Am I right about it? Whereas vipassana is that we will have to more investigate on the arises feeling. So I want to know if in one sitting, if I choose vipassana, then I have to stick for 1 hour on that method and not to shift, right?
Yeah, I think you are correct. You know, how we deal with any sensation, any sounds while we are doing samadhi or samatha meditation, how we deal with them is different from when we are doing the vipassana meditation. But I think in any sitting, we don't do vipassana straight away. Even when what you can decide is, any vipassana has to be done with some level of samatha or some level of calming meditation. We cannot simply, our daily life we can notice, the impermanence, everything. But in meditation, in order to directly witness the changes and the real arising and passing away of phenomena, we need a settled, calm mind. So usually vipassana is practiced only, we practice some samatha for some time. It depends. For a beginner, you have to practice quite long in one sitting because it takes time for us to get the mind settled finally. But for advanced practitioners, they can do samatha for a little bit and get the mind to a very stable, very settled state, and then you can practice vipassana. But you don't simply start vipassana right away. You really need to calm the mind and settle the mind to do that. But you can decide whether I'm only doing the samatha throughout, or do I want to incorporate vipassana at the end. So if you only do samatha, for example, you want to experience jhana and deep peace, and whatever sensations or whatever sounds or whatever comes to you, you notice them, acknowledge them, and redirect your attention back to the object of the meditation. You don't dwell too much on them. But once you start Vipassana techniques, and you only stay in the object of meditation lightly, if there's any sensation, any sound comes, yes, you notice them, and also you want to explore exactly how it arises and how it passes away, and how we construct that experience. So we want to see the constructed nature of that experience. So we examine a little bit more of those sensations when we do Vipassana. It's always preceded by Samatha. Yeah.
I find the samadhi is very difficult for me. So I'm not very good practitioner. I haven't had a lot of experience to have a very steady mind. But when I do the investigation part, it's easier. So it's very easy for me to sit and start investigating. Yeah. Okay. But if I were to sit and start samadhi and then get to the stillness and then vipassana, it will never happen.
Okay, I think you use the term investigation. So investigation is great. There is what we call it Dhamma Vichaya, like investigating of the experiences, investigating of the but Vipassana does not necessarily means investigation alone. Vipassana means directly seeing the building up of the experience in real time. Directly witnessing the impermanence and changing and the building up of the experience. In order to do that, you have to have samadhi. No other way around. Yeah, but I think maybe one thing if the calming kind of techniques are difficult for you, there are other samatha techniques that involve some thinking and some thinking, like recollections meditation like Buddha Anusati, and also Marana Anusati, and all these recollection you need to recollect. And I'm going to do 4 elements meditation later. So there are certain meditation that involves some kind of investigation, or maybe some kind of thinking. And then, but that will also lead to samadhi later. So maybe you can try Anusati meditations.
Morning, Bhante. First of all, my greatest gratitude to you for introducing 4 Brahma Vihara during the 2023 Novitiate program. I've shared before during that program that you actually healed me. Just now when you went through the healing process to the spine and to the nerve, I have warm air and my spine and the nerve where I'm having pain. So the pain eases like 50%. Wow, Bhante, you did it again. I would like to thank my preceptor, Dr. Padmasiri, in 2019. He gave me a very beautiful name, Sadda. Obviously, I have total trust in Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. I have high respect for the Triple Gem. Besides that, I have all my teachers to thank for. Bhante Susila, Bhante Dr. Chandima, of course, Bhante Dr. Pemaratana, and the rest of the Bhante who have helped me, imparted very strong Dharma to me so that I can practice at home. Actually, I only come for a novitiate program and also meditation program. The rest of it, I actually practice from home. Now, my thing, what I want to share is practicing 4 Brahma Vihara is really very useful, provided you get good teachers. I have another teacher to thank for is when I went for my seminary program in 2024. This is Venerable Obasa. She also imparted 4 Brahma Vihara for us, but she added with 6 R's. So, Bhante, I really hope, you can actually share your recording for us to practice at home for the initial stage, because you really hit on it and you heal me. Thank you, Bhante. My greatest gratitude to all my teachers.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for sharing your personal experience, and it's still encouraging for everyone else. I think when we are going through some physical pains, through like surgeries and other things, so meditation can help for us to heal our body, definitely. And it's one thing to heal internally, but also meditation also gives us an ability to relate to the pain in a different way, because we can relate to the pain with agony, with resentment, or we can also relate to the pain with some kind of acceptance. And we can reduce the weight of the pain based on how we relate to the pain. If we hate the pain, and it increases the pain. And if we kind of, accept it and then try to explore the pain, sometimes it can, we can reduce. But definitely, when we read the Bojjhanga Suttas, where Buddha visited, sick monks, and then Buddha sit down next to them and chant the 7 factors of enlightenment, and helping the monks to reflect their own 7 factors that they have developed in their lives. So Buddha is chanting to help them to reflect, and they themselves reflect their own spiritual qualities. As a result, their whole body get healed. So it is possible for us to have inner healing. So I'm glad that you have experienced some of it. You can continue, definitely. So I think you mentioned about the Brahma Vihara's meditation, and I included a little bit yesterday, but today, because our theme, we want to spend a little bit more time on Vipassana, so I didn't do a lot of practices on Samatha. So actually Brahma Vihara meditation is related to what we did, which is the loving kindness meditation, metta meditation. So in metta meditation is expressing our willingness for everyone to be well. It's a goodwill towards everyone. I think Bhante Punnaji translated it as benevolence, right? Yeah. So feeling benevolence, goodwill towards everyone. That is metta. That is the primary wholesome quality. And once you have that, and that can be manifested as karuna or compassion, or as mudita, which is sympathetic joy. When you have a goodwill towards everyone, when you encounter people who are suffering, who are going through difficult time and pain, and that metta will be expressed as compassion, as karuna. You feel empathy, and you wish that person to get rid of that suffering. That is called karuna. And so we can, in addition to like wishing well-being, to be well and happy, we can also add karuna meditation, which means actually specifically focusing on different kinds of suffering that people are going through, even right now, thinking about all different suffering people and wish them to be free from that suffering. And people who are in pain, physical pain, people who are in mental pain, wishing them to be free from that. And then when we have that goodwill, wishing well-being to everyone, when you meet people who are okay, people who are happy, people who are enjoying their good health and success and good family life, and you develop mudita, sympathetic joy. We can also do it as a meditation, thinking about all the people who are doing well, who are happy, who are having a good life, and wishing them to continue that happiness, wishing them to maintain that happiness and even increase that happiness. And if you make that wish, that becomes mudita meditation. And then we can also conclude that meditation with equanimity, which means that and there's a limit. We can wish for everyone, but we also need to accept the reality that everyone has their own karmic, your own karma, and impermanence is underlining everything. So everyone will get sick eventually, whether we, no matter how much we wish, everyone will eventually, get sick and die, and everyone is bounded by their own karma. So we have to accept that. So we develop equanimity, accepting the destiny of the people, and develop that equanimity. So those are the Brahma Vihara meditation, which can be a very good practice. We can now actually move to our Dhamma sharing, and I was planning to share with you today the meaning of sati and samadhi. Again, that will help us to understand the connection between samatha and vipassana. So let's move to that. So the two important concepts that we should understand well, and that we have been practicing so far, is, we have samma sati and samma samadhi as two important part of the Noble Eightfold Path. Then here I have some quotes from the suttas for us to understand. What do we really mean by the term sati and also the samadhi? So sati is usually translated as mindfulness, right? So I think the term mindfulness captures certain aspect of the sati, but not the whole thing. I remember Bhante Pemaratana translated sati as introspection. Introspection, turning attention inward. Yeah. So those, I think the term introspection makes a lot of sense when we read the suttas, because the Buddhist concept of Buddhist practice of sati is not necessarily being mindful of the environment. It's not being mindful of the, what is external to us. It's mainly being mindful of the internal aspect of it. So we will see that. But it's also, there's an element of remembering. So let's read from the Indriya Vibhanga Sutta, Sati. What is the faculty of sati? There is a case where a monk, a disciple of the Noble Ones, is mindful, highly meticulous, remembering, and able to call to mind even things that were done and said long ago. Mindful and highly meticulous, remembering, and able to call to mind even the things that have done and said long ago. And this is how the faculty of mindfulness is explained. When you develop mindfulness, when you develop sati, as a result of development of the sati, you will get this ability that you are able to recall the things that you have said and done long ago. Do you remember what did you do yesterday here? When the faculty of sati is explained, it is given as ability to remember. But that is a result. That's a result of paying attention to. So if you paid attention to what happened yesterday, everything that you paid attention will be remembered later. Anything that you did not pay attention will be gone. So the memory and the paying attention is connected. So paying attention is the present function, and memory of it is the result of that function. So when this sati is explained as a faculty, Buddha explained as the ability to remember, and if you did everything mindfully, and you'll be able to recall them later. And those things can function as lessons, and even good moments and also bad moments. Yes, brother?
Okay, when I first came across the word sati, so many people had so many different translations. I got very confused. Then I realized there are certain words very important to understand, and one of the best translation I received was from Bhante Pemaratana. You mentioned it. He says introspection, bringing the attention inwards. And then I realized at that time we were listening to so many other people talking about being mindful, especially, I don't mean to say anything bad about them, but a lot of Western teachers, unfortunately, teach mindfulness that, oh, you have to be mindful of what's going on outside. And that is where the confusion came in. So one of the first words that helped me understand Sati better was this introspection, bring the attention inwards. And I was very fortunate to come across another teacher who also gave a very excellent translation. In supplementing that, he says recollection. Recollection, which means observing what's going on, paying attention, and actually recognizing, realizing what it is that is happening as it is happening. That is really what recollection is. Basically, everything we think about is not a first time. It is actually going through the memory and then arising again. So anything that arises in your mind is actually a recollection. So the word recollection is also a very helpful word, which is what you mentioned, attention and then memory. Yeah. That is recollection. You know, so combining introspection with recollection actually helped me understand the meaning of sati a lot better. Yeah. So I hope that helps. Thank you,
brother. Yeah. So talking about paying attention to inner world. So here we have two passages. The first one is focusing on the ability to remember and ability to remember, and the second passage explain paying attention to inward. So let's see the second passage. He remains focused on the body in and of itself, ardent, alert, mindful, putting aside greed and distress with reference to the world. This is what you find in the Satipatthana Sutta, again and again. So here, Buddha defined sati as remains focused on the body, and then on the feelings, means actually sensations, and on the mind and mental qualities. So that those are the four foundations of mindfulness: kaya, and then vedana, and chitta, and dhamma. So remain focused on these four things: body, feelings, mind, and mental qualities. So remain focused means paying attention and keeping in mind, keeping attention to these four things is seen as mindfulness or right mindfulness in the Buddhist practice. So it is not about being mindful of what is around us, but actually being mindful of internal world, right? So this is, and also paying attention to this body, feelings, and mind and mental qualities in a particular way, not simply paying attention only, but paying attention in a way, it says that ardent, alert, and mindful, and mainly putting aside greed and distress with reference to the world. So this is like a kind of equanimous that usually whenever we relate to body, whenever we relate to our feelings, and we will relate it either as a way of wanting it more, or as a way of don't want it, right? So, but the real mindfulness is like paying attention to the internal world, but in a way that putting aside greed and distress. Putting aside, like greed means wanting and yearning and desire, and distress means the opposite one. Yeah. In Pali we say abhijja and domanassa. Abhijja means extreme form of greed. Domanassa is like a distress. So putting aside both two extremes. So paying attention to the internal world in that equanimous way is the mindfulness. So it is related to what we call as Vipassana. So, but in the Satipatthana practice, you maintain this attitude not only in the meditation context, but also in your normal daily life. So that is why we find Samma Sati is the initial practice that you maintain this attention, inward attention, paying attention to body sensations, and then mind and mental qualities, and then not and seeing arising and passing away also, but mainly not accepting whatever experience is going on without greed or distress, and training that that way of relating to our inner world, and that is sati. So there are a number of elements here as a result of the maintaining that attention. And if you really maintain such a inner attention, and you will remember clearly later as a result what thoughts occurred in your mind and what words you said, right? What did you do? You will remember them clearly because you were paying attention inward. And then you saw your own drama, so to speak, your own play, and then later you can relate. And you can also later use it as guidance, because sometimes when you pay attention to this even feeling and mental qualities, for example, when you come to mental qualities, there are unwholesome mental qualities, there are wholesome mental qualities. So in the practice of Satipatthana, when we have unwholesome mental qualities like anger or lust, you simply notice them. You simply notice them, you become aware that they are there, and then you don't try to develop craving for it, you don't try to continue it, you don't try to push it away, you simply observe it. And so there is a kind of attitude of acceptance and equanimity there. And as a result, later we can recall what really happened in our experience. So only when the sati indriya is explained, when the sati as a faculty is explained, Buddha bring out this aspect of memory. All other places he will simply say remaining, paying attention or remain focused on the body, sense, feeling, vedana and chitta and dhamma. Actually, if you go into deep, try to analyze in a different way, these four foundations of mindfulness, kaya, vedana, chitta and dhamma, is actually another way of putting the five aggregates. The five aggregates, which is, we are made of five aggregates: rupa, like physical form, and vedana, sensations, and sanya, our memories, our knowledge, our concepts, and sankhara, our what we call fabrications or mental formations, which means actually sankhara means all our habitual patterns, our verbal habitual patterns, our physical habitual patterns, our mental habitual patterns, and those are sankhara, and then and vijnana, the consciousness. So those are the five aggregates. So when you look inward, you will catch these five aggregates in this four way. You will catch rupa as your body, as body, and vedana is already there, and you will catch your consciousness as mind, and you will catch your sanya and your mental formation, all other mental states as dhamma anupasa, mental qualities. So it's actually putting the five aggregates in a different manner. So when you look inward, and this is how you will see, but what you are really doing is actually paying attention to your own five aggregates and noticing them. But that is what we call sati. When I met Bhante Pemaratana, he really opened my mind to see how samadhi is not simply the concentration, but he look at it more as a calming of the mind, more like a stillness. equilibrium, mental equilibrium. So after I met him, I start to read the suttas again and again and to see exactly, what really Buddha meant by the term samadhi. So what I found is actually samadhi is opposite to two mental habits, like ordinary mental habits. One is our mind is usually jumping from one object to the other, keep moving all the time, right? We don't stay in one sensory object long enough. We keep moving. So we can call it flickering mind, like a flickering nature. That's one general aspect of the mind. And the second aspect of the mind is actually agitated mind, and always internal fluctuation, like internal fluctuation through different emotions, different different emotional agitations. So this is how our mind generally operates: is flickering, moving to all different places, and then internally is agitated. So the samadhi is actually opposite quality of these two aspects of the mind. So this flickering mind and also the agitated mind both doesn't allow us to know the reality. The flickering mind moving from one object to the other is incapable of grasping the real nature of anything, because you don't stay long enough to actually see it. And then agitated mind, fluctuated mind is like like a boiling water. Boiling water you cannot see through. So you have to find a way first to stop this flickering nature of the mind, and then calm the mind, calm the agitation of the mind, and then you develop this transparent, stable mind that you can actually use to see through the reality, see through the real happening, the real mechanism of our experience. So samadhi has that two elements. One is unification of the mind. The other one is appeasing and settling and calming of the mind. So mental equilibrium will be a good translation. So maybe stillness. So we can use different terms. But anyway, the language always changes. Even English itself. When I read Bhante Punnaji's reading, and he explained how even English terms have changed over the time. Yeah, so it's very the language is always limited. But anyway, so let's read how the Buddha explains the samadhi. Here, term is concentration, but it's beyond concentration. Because the term concentration only captures that unification of the mind, but it doesn't capture the lack of agitation, absence of agitation part, the absence of fluctuation part. That appeasement part is not covered in this translation. But anyway, this is how Buddha explained. Actually, whenever Buddha explained samadhi, he always explained jhanas. The jhanas means different levels of tranquility, different levels of stillness. So this is how we explain. There's a case where a monk, quite withdrawn from sensuality, withdrawn from unskillful mental qualities, enters and remains in the first jhana. Rapture and pleasure born from withdrawal, accompanied by directed thoughts and evaluation. Actually, it's very difficult to get the meaning just through the translation. But general meaning that when Buddha explained samadhi, he explained different levels of tranquility, different levels of calming of the mind. And first level is the jhana. That means, as you can see here, we have directed thought and also I would say directed attention and sustained attention. So the first level of calmness is that we have an object that we have selected, that we are going to pay attention. It can be a single object like the breath, but it can also be like a theme, like Buddha Anusati or loving kindness, like recollections, Anusati meditation. It can be a single theme or can be a single object. So we we keep directing our attention to that object, and we manage to sustain that attention. As a result of that, we can be free from all the sensory stimulations, and we are withdrawn from our from needing to have. We are withdrawn from the need to have sensual stimulations. We are also withdrawn from unwholesome mental states as a result of that, and there's sense of purity there. And then there is a piti and sukha, means rapture and pleasure, born from that withdrawal, from the need to have a sensual pleasure. And there's another joy, meditative joy. So the first jhana is a state of peaceful mind, which is accompanied by sustained attention to a meditation object with a sense of joy as a result of withdrawn from the sensual pleasures. That's the first level of stillness, and then you can go to deeper and deeper and deeper level to other levels of jhana, which we described a little bit yesterday. So here the second jhana, with the stilling of the directed thoughts and evaluation, he enters and remains in the second jhana, rapture and pleasure born from composure and unification of the awareness, free from directed thoughts and evaluation, internal assurance. In the second jhana, actually you don't have directed attention or sustained attention, because then at that stage you focus more to the internal composure, internal unification of the awareness, and you drop very effort to attach our attention to an external object or any theme, and you focus to the very joy and pleasure that is arising in the mind. So it's more like an internal, little bit more internal, and then from there you experience. But the rapture and joy, they are born not from the withdrawal. In the early case, it's born from the withdrawal from the sensory stimulation. But the second jhana, the rapture and pleasure, is born from composure, born from unification of the mind. A little bit higher level of jhana. But anyway, in the simple terms, samadhi is the state of the mind that is free from fluctuating mind and free from agitated mind. It's a peaceful state, and there are different degrees to that peace, what you call first, second, and third, and fourth jhana. Yesterday, I had the question about how we can how we can integrate vipassana to jhanic experiences. So I found an important sutta where we can find how one can, so we can experience the jhana, the deep peace and samatha, and how we incorporate vipassana to this samatha. So here we find interesting sutta where Buddha described the experience of Venerable Sariputta, the chief disciples of the Buddha. Let me quickly read. I have heard that at one time the Blessed One was staying in Savatthi at Jeta's Grove, Anathapindika's monastery. There he addressed the monks, saying, "Monks." "Yes, Lord," the monks responded. The Blessed One said, "Monks, Sariputta is wise, of great discernment, deep discernment, wide, joyous, rapid, quick, penetrating discernment. For half a month, Sariputta clearly saw insight into mental qualities, one after another. This is what occurred to Sariputta through insight into mental qualities, one after another." Buddha is giving a report how Venerable Sariputta progressed in his spiritual practice. It only took 2 weeks, so Venerable Sariputta to attain the full enlightenment. I mean, of course, he was, quick-witted, a monk, and of course he has practiced before that. So Buddha explained how within 2 weeks how he attained the full enlightenment. So Buddha is reporting, this is how he did. There was a case where Sariputta, quite secluded from sensuality, secluded from unskillful mental qualities, entered and remained in the first jhana, and rapture and pleasure born from seclusion accompanied by directed thought and evaluation. So Buddha explained actually, first Sariputta explained 4 jhanas. This is how, Sariputta attained enlightenment. So once he attained the first jhana, this is what he did. Whatever qualities there are in the first jhana, such as this, like a directed thought, evaluation, rapture, pleasure, singleness of mind, contact, feeling, perception, intention, consciousness, desire, decision, persistence, mindfulness, equanimity, attention. There can be many mental factors within that first jhanic experience. He ferreted them out one after another. Known to him they arose, known to him they remained, known to him they subsided. So what Sariputta did, how he did not simply immerse in the jhana, he didn't simply absorb in the jhana and simply absorb in that bliss, but he developed a little bit more awareness of all these mental faculties. He balanced the immersed, peaceful, settled nature of the mind with some alertness. So he balanced the alertness and the composure. So he was able to detect all these different mental factors that are present in the jhanic experience. And then what he did, so he knew how they arises, when they pass away. Then I highlighted the application of insight to jhana. Then he discerned, so this is how these qualities, not having been, come into play. Having been, they vanish. He remained unattracted, unrepelled with regard to those qualities, independent, detached, released, dissociated with an awareness rid of barriers. He discerned that there's a further escape and pursuing it there really was for him. But up to here, what he did, he experienced this jhana and experienced the deep peace and experienced all other mental qualities related to that jhanic experience. He became aware of each factor, and then he did the contemplation, applying vipassana. This deep peace, no matter how peaceful it is, no matter how serene it is, it was not before, and it was generated as a result of this effort. It is a product of different conditions. It's such a deep, peaceful state, but it's not permanent. It is a constructed, not having been, it come into play. It was not there, that peaceful state was not there when it started, but now it is here. And then it came, it was a product of a gradual practice. So it was a product of conditions. It's not given, it's not like permanent there, but it is something that came to be as a result of gradual practice. So it's something that fabricated, something that has been produced. And having been, they vanish. And you cannot stay in the jhana forever. They also vanish. So he actually examined, so he used the insight, he used the impermanent, like look at this jhanic experience as something that has been constructed, something that has been produced, something that is impermanent. And he made that investigation. As a result, although it's such a peaceful, deep, nice state, he was able to stay unattracted and also unrepelled by that peaceful experience. He did not deny it. He was not afraid of it. He was experiencing it, but he's also not attracted by it. So he was able to stay equanimous and independent, detached. And then, of course, he did the same thing to all other jhanas. So that is how we can apply vipassana to even to jhanic experiences. So this shows that actually the calming of the mind, settling of the mind is so important, but that is not the end of the Buddhist practice. The end of the Buddhist practice is to use that calm state of the mind and have a direct experience, direct seeing of the actual happening, actual functioning of the mind. and realize the impermanent non-self nature of our experience. Once we have that direct insight, then the peace of the mind will not be lost even you come out of the meditation. That is why Vipassana is so important. But that doesn't mean that samadhi or samatha is not important. Samatha and samadhi is indispensable. So we have to use the both. Yeah. Okay. Any more questions before you go to our next practice?
Hello, Bhante. What I find is that I was, when I do the walking as well as the sitting meditation, now it's so nice just to dwell in that peace and the comfort. So, when I try, you see, because I'm first time doing Vipassana, so then this is the first time that I get to know that we can, go further to analyze, to examine whatever that comes up. So in that peace and at ease feeling, now it's actually very hard for the mind to think about what actually comes out, because there's really nothing that really bothers me, or there's really nothing that is so significant enough for me to pay attention to. So therefore, in my experience, I would to intentionally look for the thought, look for, is there any pain, look for, something, to dwell my mind on. So in that sort of situation, now should we still continue to look for that thought, that sensation, that whatever, that feeling? So this is my question. Should we intentionally put, the effort onto looking for these things so that we then can anchor ourselves to go into Vipassana? Thank you.
Thank you, sister, for that sharing and that very honest question. If you can settle your mind and stay connected with the meditation object, and definitely it is so peaceful, so serene, and we will experience what you call piti and sukha, and it's such a peaceful, nice experience. But here, our retreat is integrating samatha and vipassana. The reason that we don't want to only stay peaceful is that we want to develop the skill of the mind to carry that peace, carry that stability even outside of the meditation. The whatever peace, whatever good experience they are having is available to us through calming techniques only when we are sitting down. And how rarely we get that chance. Maybe, if you are skillful enough, plan enough, you can have at least, one sitting at home, maybe 2 sittings at home, and you can experience that, right? So it's good. They encourage us to experience that, experience jhana, experience those piti and sukha. But the problem is that, so we are peaceful when we are successful in meditation. Sometimes even meditation is not successful. Your mind will not get settled in the same way every day. But now our issue is that how we can make a change of our mind, that even we are not meditating, and we can maintain some stability, some inner peace. So the Vipassana techniques are helping us to make such a permanent change in the way that we see things, the way we relate to things, we interpret things, we react to things. So we are going to make a permanent change. So that is why we need some Vipassana technique. So as you say in the Vipassana techniques, we don't completely drop the object of meditation. For example, we started with breathing meditation. So once you establish in it, if you decide to do Vipassana, we still stay focused on the breath, but not very lightly. very lightly. Our main object is the meditation, but you give some space around it. You generate some open awareness. And if any other sensation occurs, any sound or any itch or anything occurs, or any thought occurs, in the Samatha meditation, you simply acknowledge it, you quickly come back to the main object. You don't want to dwell, we quickly come. But in Vipassana techniques, when you are applying that technique and you simply, whenever such a thing arises and you want to notice the arising of it and passing away of it. You want to notice how that experience is constructed with the form, with the material form and with the mental categories. So once you see that, you change the way we see the world. And even as we saw in the morning in the discourses, when we apply Vipassana technique, we can even examine that very peace. This beautiful, very serene experience, so nice, but it is it is a product of a lot of effort. So it's also impermanent. I cannot stay like this forever. So we examine that also. And eventually we develop more deeper, more stable, more permanent state of the mind, that we are able to accept changes, we are able to accept pleasant sensation, unpleasant sensation, and maintain equanimity. So yes, it's two different styles. You don't have to look for it. You just wait until something comes up. Yeah. If there's nothing, you can stay with the peace. But in the practice of Vipassana, you even examine. You even don't rely or don't trust or don't rely or lean too much to that peace. You can do it, but in the Vipassana technique, we also understand that this peace too will pass.
Hello, Bhante. I was thinking one of the sutta I saw was the Buddha described the mind as a well-thatched roof, and the defilement cannot go in. So I was thinking, I think the most important thing is sati, because I guess it's like the moment to moment, whether we are meditating or we are walking or whatever we do, we have to be noting what comes up. And then I guess that's how we are not easily defiled by whatever comes up. Please comment. Thank you.
How to protect the mind like a well plastered roof. Yeah. I think you are correct. Mindfulness is the protection. So the Buddha already has said in the Satipatthana Sutta that as long as we maintain mindfulness, there's no room for Mara to enter. That means defilements to enter. Because any defilements, any anger or desire or jealousy, whatever comes through some sensory experience, we will see things, smell things, taste things, and then we will interpret it, and then we will relate to our previous memory, and then we develop either liking or desire for it, longing for it, or we will develop resentment towards it. But when we maintain mindfulness, sati, at the beginning, so we will notice whatever initial sensory experiences, but we don't develop it into like stories. So it is through the stories that we allow all the defilements to arise. But if we can be mindful and watch our own mind and simply examine those, be mindful of those initial sensory stimulus, and simply recognize their pleasant nature, unpleasant nature, but try to not to interpret and try to create stories, then we can prevent us from developing more defilements. Yeah. So that is actually more like a prevention. But actually, the complete eradication happens through deep insight and when we remove the avijja completely. So sati and also the sila is helping us to prevent. But the proclivity is still there underneath. In order to remove that level we call anusaya, like a dormant, sleeping level of defilements, in order to completely eradicate even the possibility of greed, possibility of anger, we need deep insight meditation, and we need to completely remove what we call avijja, or the blindness. Yeah. But that's a permanent solution. But in order to get the permanent solution, we need to start with prevention and managing, and then eventually completely remove it. Yeah.
Bhante, this may sound like a funny question, but I know some people prefer to meditate in the forest or in a cave. Is it because there is more challenges to test the mind, and then people can cultivate more calmness towards these challenges? Because probably this place is so serene, so peaceful, that we don't get challenged enough.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a question to Bhante. I'm just wondering.
Yeah, people go to forest and caves because they have less distraction. Like, when you learn to drive, first you have to learn in a very protected, place. Right? You cannot learn to drive in the road. Do you drive? Okay, so when you go driving school, or maybe your parents, or family members taught you to drive, you will go to a parking lot or some secure place and learn to drive. And you learn all the way how you balance your brake and your gas, and how you go between the line, and once you had a really good training, and then you can come to the main road. So what we are doing right now is like driving in the parking lot. No one to scold at us, right? No one to no one to hurt us. So everything is very conducive, so we can learn, we can develop this skill. But the real practice comes when you go out. Yes, in order to get a conducive environment that we can train ourselves. Yeah.
Bhante, thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to learn from you. It's really inspiration. Adding to what the sister was saying about challenging places to really get you into something very unusual. I was about in my 20s, not a Buddhist yet. I became a practicing Buddhist when I was 56 years old. It was one very hot day in Petaling Street. I was doing some shopping and carrying something a bit heavy, and was very hot at noontime. And I was like walking back to the YWCA hostel, which was a bit up the hill. And I was so tired and sweating, and I was struggling. But then suddenly I don't know how I concentrated only on my walking, and then the steps became lighter and lighter, and in the end I felt like I was floating. So there was no energy to need to walk, and it was very strange. And I reached my destination with very light-hearted and easygoing. So until now, I never got this experience. Wow. However much I walk and slowly, quickly, or whatever, I couldn't. So that can be very frustrating. And my expectation was too much. So can you please advise?
Thank you, sister, for sharing that experience. Yeah. So you didn't have any experience in walking meditation when it happened, right? Yeah. So it happened like automatically, like naturally. that is so interesting, yeah. So you are climbing uphill and with all the shopping bags, and you feel like you are floating. Yeah, maybe we can do it again. Yeah. I don't know, maybe, I don't know whether it's something from your previous memory, previous life or affected that. Something should have happened at that time to get that experience. But anyway, sister, when you do our walking meditation, particularly in like a long, not like a day or two, but maybe in weeks, like a daily practice. There are moments that you feel like you are not really walking, but the walk brings you. I mean, so initially we purposely lift our foot and settle our foot, lifting and settling, lifting and settling, but that there comes a time that actually in that whole process you lose your agency, you lose your own effort, that the walk start to happen, and it's such a free experience, like such a liberating experience. It can happen. So maybe that may be what happened to you, and maybe you should do more walking meditation, and you will definitely be able to get there. Yeah, it's possible that we come to that kind of state. Yeah.
Sitting, I don't know why, when I close my eyes, I will fall asleep.
Yes. So you don't have to close the eyes all the time, actually. We can meditate with open eyes. Yeah. But there are some monks even at the time of the Buddha who did a lot of walking meditation and have deep realization through walking meditations. And not everyone got enlightened in sitting meditation. It is possible also to practice. But because of the nature of our body, we need to alternate. We cannot stay in one posture very long. But maybe there should be some affinity. I mean, you should have some affinity with walking meditation. Yeah, you can maybe practice a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, and also in daily activities, I can be more mindful than when I sit down with no challenges on me. I don't get any result. But when I'm in daily activities, when I deal with difficult situations or challenging people, I seem to be very calm and can handle it quite well.
Yeah. Okay. So what was the earlier one?
Sorry?
When you are dealing with difficult people,
and difficult situations, I'm very calm.
You can watch your own mind,
yeah, yes.
And then do not let those emotions arise and manage it.
Yes,
That's great. That is exactly what we want people to do.
So I'm so happy I don't have to sit for 1 hour and closing my eyes. It's so very boring for me, actually.
But I think...
But I'll never get samadhi then. No jhanas. And I was hoping that I can get some jhanas.
Yeah. Can you stay with the object of meditation? Can you connect it with the object of meditation long?
Yes, about 10 seconds only.
Then after that, what do you do?
I used to say Buddha.
Yeah.
So very calm. I can just sit down and be very calm, very fast. But very fast, within 10 seconds, it's gone. My mind will be in Timbuktu and everywhere.
Yeah.
Another strange thing is, when I first started to be a Buddhist, my sutta teacher was asking, who wants to be a Buddha? So we all laugh. I also laugh, It's so strange, to aspire to be a Buddha. It's so difficult. But now I tend to think that it's not so difficult to be a Buddha. So instead of aspiring to be an Arahant or whatever levels, straight aim for Buddhahood. So I said, yeah, I will aspire for that.
We can have an aspiration to overcome our defilements. We can have aspiration to overcome our greed, hatred, and delusion. And that can happen in 3 different ways. It can happen, as an individual transformation, or it can also happen as a way that you develop extra skills that you can, help and teach others also. So becoming a Buddha and becoming an Arahant, in terms of the quality of the enlightenment, is the same. But becoming a Buddha requires development of so many other skills. That is why we had to fulfill parami, fulfill in a lot of skills, perfections, in order to be a really inspiring teacher. You had to establish a community of disciples, a lot of work, a heroic path. That is what the Mahayana is aiming at. They really want to become, everyone wishing to become the Buddha. Yeah. My life span is ever decreasing. Death is inevitable. Each breath bring me closer to my last breath. On this day, I am closer to death than I was yesterday. This body is fragile. It can be disintegrated very easily. There are many causes to die. One day my time will run out. Death will meet me whether I am prepared or not. Death itself is certain. Death itself is certain. Death itself is certain. Life is uncertain. Death is certain. My lifespan is ever decreasing. Death is inevitable. Each breath bring me closer to my last breath. On this day, I am closer to death than I was yesterday. This body is fragile. It can be disintegrated very easily. One day my time will run out. Death will meet me whether I am prepared or not. Death itself is certain. Death itself is certain. Death itself is certain. Dukkha pattha ca niddukkha bhayapattha ca nibbhaya sokapattha ca nisoka hontu sabbepi panino. May all those who are suffering be free from suffering. May all those who are in fear be free from fear. May all those who are grieving be free from grief. May all beings be well and happy. Gently come out of the meditation. Gently put your palms together and place them against your chest. Let us again deeply feel grateful for this wholesome, fruitful, insightful 2 days. Deeply feel grateful for this availability of the teachings of the Buddha. Even though we are living after many centuries after the lifetime of the Buddha, we still have access to these teachings. We are deeply feel grateful to all the monks and disciples who preserved these teachings for us, who transmitted these teachings for us. Deeply feel grateful to all the teachers, all the enlightened masters in the past. You may also feel grateful to your teachers who first encouraged you to practice the Dhamma, who guided you. And you also feel grateful to a spiritual community, your spiritual brothers and sisters who support your practice. Let us feel grateful whoever facilitated this retreat for us, people who work days to arrange and organize this, who spend many hours to make sure that everything is provided to us. Deeply feel grateful to all of them. Even let us feel grateful to these non-living things which helped our meditation, including this cushion, this comfortable hall, this sound system, and anything that supported our meditation. With deep gratitude to all people and all things that made this meditation possible for us today, let us say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let us do the sharing of merits. I hope that you will continue this momentum in some form or other in your daily practice. Please come to meditation sessions occurring in the Buddhist centers at least weekly, and then have your own personal practice at home, and continue this practice and continue to use this training to constantly investigate, constantly look into the inner processing happening all the time. You may not be able to catch yourself all the time, but at least from time to time, if you can catch how you process the information, how we give value, how we develop desires or anger. So if we can detect that, you can relieve your burden, suffering right there. So I hope that you will continue to do that in your daily life and continue to practice. So with that determination, let us share these merits with our departed relatives and people who have done so much for us, all our ancestors, all our departed parents or grandparents or other family members, and all of our departed teachers. We are deeply grateful to them, and let us share these merits with them too. May they all share these merits. May they continue their journey towards enlightenment. And may they be well, happy, and peaceful wherever they may be. Idang mi ñātīnaṃ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idang mi ñātīnaṃ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idang mi ñātīnaṃ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Let us also share these merits with all other living beings. All the divine beings share in our merits. May all other living beings also share our merits. May all people and beings who may not have opportunity to practice these teachings, this Dhamma, may they also share our merits. May they too have an opportunity to listen to the Dhamma and practice the Dhamma and live a compassionate life. May all living beings share our merits. May all living beings be well, happy and peaceful. Ettavata ca amhihi sambhataṃ puñya sampadaṃ sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe sattha anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Let us read this. By the blessings that have arisen from my practice, may my venerable preceptors and teachers who have helped me, mother, father, and relatives, male and female rulers, worldly powers, virtuous human beings, the higher beings, the demons and high gods, the guardian deities of the world, the celestial beings, the Lord of death, friendly people, indifferent and hostile, may all beings be well. May the skillful deeds done by me bring you threefold bliss. May this quickly bring you to the deathless. By means of this meritorious deed and through this aspiration, may I quickly attain the cutting off of craving and clinging. Whatever faults I may have until I am liberated, may they quickly perish. Wherever I am born, may there be an upright mind, mindfulness and wisdom, austerity and vigor. May no harmful influences weaken my efforts. The Buddha is unsurpassed protector. The Dhamma is supreme protection. Peerless is a silent Buddha. The Sangha is my true refuge. By the power of these exalted ones, may I rise above all defilements. By means of this meritorious deed, may I never join the foolish. May I join always with the wise, until the time I attain Nibbana. May the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear-struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. So too may all beings be. From the highest realm of existence to the lowest, may all beings arise in these realms, with form and without form, with perception and without perception, be released from all suffering and attain to perfect peace. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let us pay tribute to all our ancestral masters and monks, and especially let us bring to our mind our late Chief K. Sri Dhammananda Nayaka Maha Thero. Deeply feel grateful and pay tribute to him, and also our beloved teacher, Dr. Madhavala Punnaji Maha Thero, and all other teachers. And I also would like to bring to my mind our sister Bodhi, who used to be such a helpful person to organize retreats. So we dearly miss her and wish pay our tribute and gratitude to her. And may all the blessings, all the merits that we accrue today be shared by all of them. May they be well. May they continue their journey towards the enlightenment. May they continue to shower their blessings upon all of us. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, let me do a blessing chant to all of you. I truly appreciate and your dedication, your practice, and wish you all good health to continue your practice, and wish you all the blessings to have more opportunities to practice Dhamma and more opportunities to learn and practice the Dhamma. So with that wish, I'll chant for you. Bhavatu sabba mangalang rakkantu sabba devata sabba buddhanubhavena sada sotti bhavantu te. Bhavatu sabba mangalang rakkantu sabba devata sabba dhammanubhavena sada sotthi bhavantu te. Bhavatu sabba mangalang rakkantu sabba devata sabba sanghanubhavena sada sotthi bhavantu te.